day. My window.
Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know you're abundantly creative and abundantly talented. Can you basically just freestyle based on anything? If I threw a couple of random words at you right now, could you kind of make something work?
I could make it work. I would. I think it's a muscle, and you got to be in shape. But yeah, I think I could make it work.
Well, let's say something. Let's incorporate the words music, beer.
Yeah.
Hear Vancouver. without putting you on the spot.
I mean, you're taking care of some of the rhymes for me. I mean, it goes Vancouver here, you need another beer. The music don't stop because it's right. And the center of the gravitational pull. And if you're too dull, then you ain't sharp enough. And if you've got a beer, maybe it ain't harp enough. That's that angry Scotch ale. Your angry thoughts will take you out. Plus I'm down with swollen members, props to prevail. And a mad child. I've got a sad style, I'm a freestyling bandit. It's candid, I'm Vancouver maneuvering this. You're underhanded, I'm the scepter man in the sewage tanks. I'm that underground, yes, I like to give thanks to the buckshot shirt. And all you fuck thoughts, words up. You can't even get enough. The way that Kip's got it like 8 ain't enough. And I ate up all the stuff. And if you don't hear me clearly, that's okay. I appear to be with my man Joe Leary, and I'm out. KYP.
Well, that's her. So the genre of music you're in, before you get good at it, I bet you start off pretty bad at it.
Yeah.
But you can't just freestyle. Not everybody can just do it naturally.
No, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So, and you see people who can do it.
Get your hands up.
How you doing? This is Kyprios, and more importantly, this is Hear Vancouver. There's this famous spot, or this famous video, of Biggie when he's 17, and he's just on the street in Bed-Stuy. Nothing's written down, and he's already, at 17 years old, he's already better than most people on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that, Biggie made, you can say that Biggie inspired a lot of people to rap, and he probably inspired a lot of people to never even try it because it'd be that frustrating.
But I can understand being impressed by it, being influenced by it somewhat. But again, as I said, not anybody is able to do it. First of all, you have to have a pretty good knowledge of things that kind of rhyme together, and you got to have some quick recall for references as well.
Yeah, but I think it's just like anything. You sit there and you could be amazed by a guitarist and say, not anybody can do that. And a guitarist will sit there and go, well, I've been playing for 45,000 hours. It's like dudes in the Royal Shakespearean Company. They basically freestyle an iambic pentameter. So, that's basically a 10-syllabic structure. I mean, how the hell do you do that? Now, with us, in terms of bars, MCs, lots of times they can just find the beat, leave the beat, come back to the beat. But these guys, it's just like 10 syllables next, 10 syllables, like a typewriter, right back to one. And they're coming up with words and phrases and lots of times poems that had that kind of intricate structure. So I think it's just like anything else, where it's time, it's a time and commitment to it. And even now, it's just like, when I was young, that's all you do. You'd be coming up, you'd be on the corner freestyling, or you'd be in front of there was a 99-cent pizza joint that used to be on Robson, and that's where I met Preb and Mocha and Siege and Bird of Prey. Like, all of those dudes, they're freestyling. I'm an MC. I jump up and we start rapping.
Now, there's a lot of, when you think of the genre of rap and hip hop, there's some angry stuff. There's a lot of cries for social reform. There's messages, and there's moments of inspiration and all of that. And I think one that really resonated with me, it also happened to be the very first song I ever paid to download, was your song "Never Say Goodbye."
I love that.
And that deals with loss. And I know that I'm catching you at a bad time, because you've just recently dealt with a very significant loss.
Yeah.
So do you find that the genre also is a cathartic method of dealing with problems that one may encounter in life?
I think so. I mean, when you even intersect with other artists, even from different platforms, you find out pretty quick that their art, whether or not it's spoken word or they're a musician or a painter or an actor, there's like, a lot of artists, for as crazy as they are, it's like that's their therapy as well. So their catharsis happens as an outlet for that. But I think, especially, being a writer, when you can actually verbalize what you're feeling, you've got a tremendous leg up to be able to really try to get out your feelings. So yeah, but we lost a dear friend, Mike Nias, who was an integral part of this city and this scene, and he connected a lot of people. So Rest in peace, Mike Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other dimensions in your life, because, for example, in your style of music, you incorporate, and you sort of bring some fun into it as well. Not just to say that not everybody does, but I know, for example, you've sampled like "Sweet City Woman." You sort of like, which is a great Canadian classic by the Stampeders. Number one, have you had any feedback from the Stampeders camp?
Yeah.
And number two, like, do you just sort of like you're driving around one day, you might pop something on a radio station, and go, yeah, I can make that work.
That's exactly what happens. But to your first question, I was never intending to release the City Woman tune. I always liked that song. I always put a smile on my face when I'd hear that band guitar. It always just made me happy. So I thought it would be funny to do like, you know how Tribe Called Quest took a walk on the wild side, and they did Can I Kick It?
Yeah.
Where, they just basically put a sampled drum underneath that, and they just looped that. And I thought that might be kind of cool to do with City Woman, with Sweet City Woman. But anyhow, couldn't reach out to the guy who owned it, because a lot of people like, you need to track this record.
Yeah.
You need to do this. So I couldn't figure out who owned it. Now, music, not to get into the politics or how complicated the licensing aspect of it is, but there's basically two licenses you need to secure if you're ever going to sample something in this day and age. I couldn't secure the master license that would permit me to sample it. So I had to reach out to Rich Dotson, who was the guy who wrote it, the Stampeder, and basically get his blessing and negotiate a way how to use this. But I'd have to replay everything as well. So I mean, it was an arduous task, but it was great. I'd met him before when they were indoctrinated into the West Coast Canadian Hall of Fame. We were there. I was out there, so I'd met him and shook hands. I'm sure he didn't remember me, but I reminded him and refreshed his memory that we bumped heads, and he gave me a blessing, and he was really cool. But to your second point, I mean, there was a day I was driving around in Arizona in my buddy's truck. Song comes on, couldn't put my finger on who it was, and I'd never heard it before. This old soul singer. So I just recorded a little bit of it, did a bit of homework, found out about this tragic singer, and ended up using a little piece of that and creating a piece of music out of it. So I mean, that's exactly how it happens. Or you're digging. Lots of times, like if you're sampling music, you're just putting records on. You're just putting records on, and you're just checking to see different points that maybe you could just use a second, or just putting a collage together. So that's the process for sure.
Well done, sir. Thanks, man.
No worries at all. Thank you.
That was great. I think we're good.
Ever since I've been a musician, I haven't needed therapy. It's a beautiful outlet to chase away demons, or at least to name them and become friends with them.